What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. In today's video, we will continue to discuss Chapter 4, Volume 7 of the light novel, entitled The Second Confrontation. This video is the fourth part of our Tensura spoiler video series. If you haven't watched the third part, feel free to visit and check out the playlist on this channel. All pieces of information are derived from the light novel, and you can find the link in the description below. Now, let's get to the video. Hinata and her party were astonished with everything they saw, as they explored the town in Bloomund and set out on a journey to Tempest. Everything was in place and well organized along the highway into the forest of Jura. This makes the trip incredibly safe for travelers. Prior to Rimuru transforming the forest of Jura, if you were an adventurer with B rank or lower, one wrong move could mean death. Hinata was surprised that the forest of Jura, which had been considered home to all kinds of horrid monsters for so many years, was nowadays calm and accessible enough for just about anyone. Someone who made all of this possible must have devoted a lot of thought. Hinata was sure that someone must be Rimuru, and it came to her that Rimuru must have longed for peaceful interaction with the human race. In one of their regular meetings to exchange intelligence, Hinata recalled what her fellow Otherworlder Yuki Kagurazaka had told her, that Rimuru was not only serious about creating and developing a nation of monsters, but also he wanted to be on good terms with Western nations. Yuki warned Hinata that to be hostile with Rimuru was ill-advised because the Free Guild was on his side. At that time, she just let those statements slide without commenting anything. But now, Hinata could attest to the veracity of what Yuki had mentioned to her. Hinata wanted to hear feedback from her commanders, so she asked them about their insight on what they had seen that day. Arnau spoke first and said that, in his opinion, judging by just that highway alone, this Demon Lord Rimuru must be an incredibly talented leader. He added that the feeling of being secured in the road must attract all kinds of travelers, that there could be no more future left for the businesses lining the route through Farmus. Bacchus agreed to Arnau and said that monsters were not the only threat out there, but also the bandits targeting merchants. So having patrolmen up and down the highway could do a lot to keep people from worrying. Lyros replied that Bacchus was correct, and knowing that you could expect help when you needed it could really put your mind at ease. Fritz added that the fact that you could save money alone was a big benefit because you no longer had to hire a personal guard. The praise for Rimuru is so glowing all around that what they are saying is all positive feedback on Rimuru's character. Everybody says that he seems to be more devoted to his rule than a lot of the barons they see out there. They say that his title may be Demon Lord, but if that's what he is a damn kind-hearted one. They can learn a lot from Rimuru, including a few things their leaders in Rebellious will be advised to implement. They are just glad that Rimuru has not been declared as their enemy yet. They will just have to see if Rimuru will be willing to accept Hinata's apology. Hinata nodded in her agreement with her commanders and said that she would have to be as heartfelt with it as she could, but if Rimuru still wanted to duel with her, she would have to accept it. But Hinata had her doubts. She is wondering why Rimuru wants a one-on-one fight with her at this point. Whether Rimuru forgives Hinata or not, she doesn't see any reason to call for another fight. Rimuru just doesn't seem to be the kind of person to show off his newfound Demon Lord power like this. Even with those doubts on her mind, Hinata and her party continued their journey. They witnessed that these inns always had at least a few people recruited from Bloomund working with the monster staff, since trading money for services was still kind of a novel thing for the monster personnel. Hinata's party often saw a human employee guiding a monster employee. It was, in a way, an ideal cross-species relationship that made Hinata see the need to reconsider the teachings of Luminism. In Luminism doctrine, all monsters must be eliminated since they pose serious threats to human beings. The next day, they will arrive at Rimuru, the capital of Tempest, and they are about to encounter the Demon Lord. Hinata is hoping that they can work this out with words instead of swords. Meanwhile, according to the latest report from Zoe's team, Hinata was still trundling along and she is about to arrive in the evening. Soe reported to Rimuru that Hinata had spent 2 weeks on this journey and did not use any teleportation or other magical means to speed things up. Rimuru praised Soe for a good job and said that it was so vital to have this kind of intelligence in advance. Prior to that, however, Rimuru had scolded Soe for suggesting to poison Hinata to take her out of the picture sooner than later. This happened when Soe gave Rimuru an urgent report from the inn Hinata first stayed at. Rimuru still has the feeling that she is coming to talk and not fight because of the way she stayed at every inn along the way, which gives an impression that she is taking her time. Rimuru asked about the update on the 100 Paladins. Soe replied that the 100 Paladins continued to lie low along the old path. He added that if they hadn't spotted the Paladins right away when they departed, Soe wasn't sure his team would have tracked them at all. Benimaru suggested that it could just be a diversionary tactic of Hinata. Rimuru said it was possible since the 100 Paladins were in full-on military mode, and Hinata was looking pretty much like a lure. Rimuru's team cannot be too complacent about the situation. If these Paladins make any move, things will start happening quickly after that, since Shion has already deployed her force. Hinata is quite strong, and Rimuru is the only one who can handle her. Rimuru thinks that Hinata is confident that she can beat all of them together. Benimaru noted that they better not let the Paladins to fan out, because if they did, the Paladins would build a holy field that would put them at a huge disadvantage. Soe nodded at Benimaru and said they would have to contact Shion out on the field and try to have her eliminate them as soon as possible. Soe paused for a moment and then told Rimuru one thing that Rimuru did not want to hear. Soe's team has detected movement and the Paladins have attempted to spread apart and cover the 4 cardinal directions around town. But Shion has intercepted them, and the battle is reported to have already started. Rimuru was disappointed and concluded that Hinata had chosen to fight. Rimuru said if Hinata wanted to be his enemy, he had prepared a plan for that. Leaving the inn behind them, Hinata and her party are getting ready for the day's journey ahead. They will likely reach Rimuru City, the capital of Jura Tempest Federation, this evening, and the tension is evident on everybody's faces. They finally reach the place, and Hinata gave orders to her companions not to do any harm on Rimuru, even if the situation does end in a fight. Hinata explained there was no more point to being hostile toward the Demon Lord, and she would take full responsibility for all of that. Hinata was about to wax poetic about her desire for peace when she was suddenly interrupted by an emergency message that had just been magically sent to her. The message faded in and out that Hinata could not get it, but the urgency and the identity of its sender were both apparent. The message was coming from Cardinal Nicolaus Speltus, but something must have been jamming the message that it came to Hinata something like the 3 battle sages. She tried to send a message back to ask what it was and what happened, but only to find the transmission dissipating into the air. Nicolaus' presence disappeared, and the final message that she got was like, "Beware the 7 days." Hinata realized that something must have happened. Hinata started to become curious about the possible involvement of the 3 battle sages in the chaos in Farmus. She decided to check with Emperor Louie whether he ordered to deploy them, because the 3 battle sages were under Emperor Louie. The blood drained from Hinata's face as she crafted another magical transmission, and this one pointed at Holy Emperor Louie. Luckily, she was able to establish connection magically, and she asked him right away if he ordered the mobilization of the 3 battle sages. But to her surprise, Emperor Louie confirmed that he did nothing of that sort. Hinata was shocked to find out that Emperor Louie had nothing to do with the deployment. She explained to the Emperor that she had ordered from Luminous to keep the 3 battle sages on standby, and they were not the kind of people to work on their own. Hinata is wondering what made them defy her order, and if that's the case, something must have happened. While she was talking with the Emperor, some kind of force field was suddenly built up, covering the area around Hinata. This force field blocked the casting of magic and Hinata lost her connection with Emperor Louie. While Hinata was trying to figure out what was happening, a large battle was unfolding not far away, and she could sense it from the vibrations it was creating in the air. Things were moving so fast and in the wrong direction. The situation was rapidly deteriorating, and Hinata hadn't even encountered Rimuru yet. Shocked by the sudden turn of events, Hinata ran at full speed for the battlefield. Hearing that Hinata was making contact with someone, Rimuru decided to send a force field to block her signal, to prevent Hinata from whatever she was scheming. And right after that, Hinata reportedly began running for the battlefield at top speed. Because of this, Rimuru concluded that indeed Hinata decided to fight him. He reminded his staff to stick to the plan. Rimuru stressed that Hinata and him would work this out, nobody but just the two of them. Benimaru assured he would keep the paladins away, and that he would not allow anyone to interfere. Having nodded in agreement with Benimaru, Rimuru quickly turned into his human form to confront Hinata for the second time around. That's it for this video, guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and click the bell notification icon so you will never miss the upcoming continuation of Tensura spoiler video series. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. Shout out to the top 10 commenters on my previous video. Shout out to Kido Trinimum, Inaccent, Ara Ara, Monique Mosquito, Bong Commander, Black Shadow, John Marie Loyola, Ved Deshmuk, Frederick Rao, and last but not the least, shout out to Midnight 2142. I'll see you guys in the next video.